Why?
I'm better than you.
My eyes are red. I was in the back smoking a joint with Van Dam.
You know it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's your boy Stevie Jobber.
And it's your boy Dangerous Duke.
And welcome back to the Dangerous Jobbers podcast, putting wrestling over one podcast at a time.
Yes, sir.
We are on episode 120. I think this might be 26 or 27.
Dang, man, we getting up there.
But it's a very important one. You know what I mean? It's very important. But before we get to all that, if you're listening to us for the first time, Duke, why don't you tell them where they can find us?
Yes, sir. So you guys, if you already know this, it's going to be like beating a dead horse. But if you're new, then we got to let you know where you can find us at. So you can find us on YouTube at the Dangerous Jobbers Podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, Anchor, Google Podcasts, all that good stuff. You can make sure you check out the website too, dangerousjobberswebsite.com. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok. You know, we're starting to get into the YouTube shorts too, so you can check them out. Basically, anywhere you can hear music, podcasting, videos, all that good stuff, that's where you'll be able to find us. So make sure you go there, click the like button, comment on the podcast, comment on the videos, all that good stuff.
Hey, man, you heard it here first. And if you're listening for the first time, or if you're a reoccurring listener, we have a segment every pod, or every regular pod, rather, where we shout out somebody from the indies that you may or may not know about. But this guy you should know about by now. I have an interesting wrestler of the pod and a couple runner-ups, or just some shout-outs from GCW that I wanted to make sure I got in there. So the wrestler of the pod this week is probably 3 or 4 time wrestler of the pod now. And it's getting ridiculous, but I mean, it's my guy. It's our guy. You know? It's Alex Kane. The suplex assassin. The leader of the Bumaye Fight Club.
Bumaye.
Open weight, MLW open weight champion. I mean, the list goes on, but the biggest thing that I think maybe even he would agree with is that he just won the 2023 MLW Battle Riot for a shot at the World Championship. I mean, let's go, baby. Let's go. Sir. Congratulations to my guy, man. My guy.
Yeah, man. We got to get that man back on the show.
Listen, I'm sending emails out top of the month. We might have Alex Kane back on here to talk about it.
Yeah, we gonna need that.
Big news.
I personally want the inside scoop on all that, so we gotta hear it.
Yes, sir. And the fact that he beat, I think the last person in the ring, he beat the Bulldog to win the shot. And that's big in itself, because seeing Davey Boy back has been tremendous. He's everything you would want him to be still.
Yep.
So and the rivalry they've had has been so purely just athletically just amazing, you know, between the Billington boys and the Bumaye Fight Club. It's just been terrific. So I wanted to give the wrestler of the pod to Alex Kane. Congratulations to that, man. So impressive. So impressive. My 2 shout outs real quick from GCW. I had to make these 2 because we've been keeping eyes on really all 3 of them. I wanted to give a shout out to the newest GCW tag team champions, the East West Express, Jordan Oliver, former wrestler of the pod, and Nick Wayne, who may also be a wrestler of the pod, if I'm not mistaken. But if he wasn't, he is now.
Yeah.
And the second shout out to the latest GCW champion, who defeated Nick Gage himself, Masha Slamovich. I mean, she just keeps doing it. I mean,
Man, like Masha keeps popping up everywhere.
she's a monster.
Like,
She's a
I feel
monster.
like almost every pod, at least
She's a
once
monster.
every other pod, Masha comes up some way.
If we never get her as a guest, we have failed. We
Yeah,
we, we
Masha's got to be one of them people we get on as a guest eventually.
seriously. Hopefully, like maybe a 150, 200th episode kind of thing.
Yeah, you never
Hopefully.
know.
We'll see, man. We'll
Stranger
see.
things have happened in the podcasting world. If we can get Alex Shelley, we can get Masha.
We got Alex Shelley.
Mm-hmm.
Go check that out, guys, if you haven't. Okay, so moving on from the rest of the pod and those shout outs, we got to get into the indie news. We're starting and ending with indie news in a way.
Yep.
But I want to touch on Impact Wrestling. Just a couple things because tragedy is struck for the champions, the top champions of Impact Wrestling. Sadly, one of their strongest champions, Josh Alexander, the walking weapon, had to relinquish the Impact Championship, World Championship, due to injury, and just a bummer way to end such a crazy reign.
Yeah.
I mean, people waited so long for it. He served it so well. He went up against so many good people. Dream matches we didn't think were gonna happen. Somehow one of those dream matches was Bully Ray. I
Yeah.
didn't see that one coming. But good story. Great writing, great in the ring. I mean, tremendous in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame he had to give it up. And at the same pay-per-view, Mickie James had to relinquish the women's or the Impact Knockouts Championship.
Yeah, man. Talk
And
about two birds with one stone.
pretty much, yeah, like it totally shifts the landscape of Impact Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It's like having Vince McMahon take all your champions right in front of you
Yeah.
without you knowing suddenly, and now you have to go into the next pay-per-view and just kind of deal with it. Oh, the horror.
Yeah,
Um,
you're essentially starting with 50% of a blank slate. Like
yeah,
you need, and the blank slate is your two most important titles.
it's
So
insane.
it definitely puts them behind the eight ball a little bit.
It's insane. So I just wanted to relay that news. Both of them are out injured. Mickie James possibly out indefinitely since she
Mm-hmm.
was on at least a story where she was on her last run, which I believe to be true at this
Yeah.
point. She's kind of done it all. So just some tragic stuff. But shout out to Steve Macklin, who ended up winning at Rebellion, and Deonna Purrazzo, who's reclaimed her spot at the top against Jordan Grace.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Grace is getting back into it with Masha. So maybe this time to let Masha win because the belt won't be on the line. We'll
I
see
will
what
say
happens.
though, if there was somebody that needed to, not needed to, if there was somebody that could have stepped up and kind of like filled the void a little bit, I'm glad Steve Macklin was one of them
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people already think highly of Steve Macklin and Impact in that locker room. He's one of them guys that a lot of people have respect for what he does. So I mean, hey, if this is how he's got to get his shot while Josh is down, I'm just hoping for the best that he can knock it out the park as well.
That's my hope too. I'm glad you said that because I thought they made the right choice in Steve.
Mm-hmm. I was
Um,
gonna say when we had Alex Shelley on not too long ago, he mentioned Steve Macklin and all the great stuff he's been doing. I think he
mhm.
mentioned him and Mike Bailey. So I'm glad.
Spitball.
Yeah, so I'm glad Steve Macklin was the one to get the shot.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like there wasn't a lot of choices for a strong new champion.
Mm-hmm.
So Steve Macklin was a great choice. I mean, even I had said when I saw that they went with Steve, I was like, okay, well, he was the most capable person.
Yeah, at that point in time,
At
yeah.
that point in time, if it's not him, maybe Moose, but
Mm-hmm.
other than that, there was nowhere else for Steve to go. You kind of could already tell he was climbing the card to that spot. And instead of just pulling the trigger on a push, they kind of just gave him the belt because of circumstance.
Yeah.
But he was headed that way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it was just a matter of time.
they made the right choice to me. So congratulations to them. But also congratulations to Trinity Fatu,
Mm-hmm.
who has debuted in Impact. Or we won't get to see what she said until next week, but we do know it's the same gimmick,
Yeah.
and the segment is being promoted as a Trinity with a live mic, very Christian Cage style. When
Yeah.
Christian first came to Impact, which I'm fine with. I mean, you have
Yeah, I
to
mean
establish your character.
it's worked in the past, so why not try it again?
Thoughts?
Um, Interesting. Like I'm interested. Impact was definitely a place I could have seen her going. In fact, I think when they both got cut, we kind of predicted Impact. Japan just didn't seem like it was in the wheelhouse for her. Neither did what was the other one? GCW.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, Impact felt like the more viable option. So, I'm interested, and they got a lot of good talent over there with Masha and Jordan Grace, Deanna Perrazzo, all them people. So I mean, I'm very interested to see how it goes with her over there. I think she could definitely potentially be a world champion for them. So they definitely have me intrigued. I will say that.
I have a sound bite for you guys. I really hope it works out for her because like we said, we didn't see a spot in New Japan for her.
Mm-mm.
Impact, I mean, AEW, she really would have got lost in the shuffle. I mean, if Paige can get lost in the shuffle, anybody can get lost in the shuffle,
Yeah.
especially for the women in AEW. So Impact was the best place to go if she didn't come back. But I was really hoping for a gimmick change. But it's
Yeah.
so I'll say this. Um, it might come off harsh, but I really hope it works for her because if it doesn't, um, I fear you guys will be hearing from me about it.
Well, I understand what you mean by you hope that it works because
And yeah, yeah.
if it doesn't, it's more than likely that it doesn't happen again. As in, it'll probably be a good while before she goes back to one of the big four. If
Hmm.
it doesn't work in Impact, if it can work anywhere, it's been seen time and time again that if something's a little bit outlandish, Impact is the place to try it because if it fails, you're either going to stay in Impact or you're going to just go down. But if it works, you can go up and get out of Impact.
Right. It's essentially the starting ground.
Yeah, it's like,
But at the same time, and this is why I say I really hope it works out for her. We know that before women's wrestling was cool, Impact was the center of women's wrestling.
yeah.
It was the epitome of what women's wrestling could be
Mm-hmm.
in the 2000s. So I really hope it works out for her because this isn't a kiddie pool. The thing I love about the indies is you really have to be all the way impressive.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. The thing about the dancing characters to me is that it doesn't give you enough character to go anywhere. People can't take you serious, and it doesn't matter how good you are in the ring if you're a dancing character. Now,
Yes.
Impact has worked for Rich Swann, so it could work for Trinity and Impact. I feel like it's very possible, but if it doesn't, I won't be surprised because you're around the best women in indie wrestling.
Agreed.
Deanna Perrazzo, Masha Slamovich, Jordan Grace, um, Taya Valkyrie. Just some of the best competition in women's wrestling, period, is down in Impact Wrestling. So if it doesn't work, then you have to change this gimmick. And you have to change something, because now Trinity's thing used to be you were really good at wrestling. So I kind of bypassed the silly stuff because it was for kids and
Yeah.
you could blame everything on Vince or whatever. If this doesn't work here, that means this character didn't work, which is what I feared from the beginning. Because no one cares that you're a good wrestler because everyone's a good wrestler there. So I really hope you can get this character of you over while still doing this glow gimmick.
And I'm gonna double down on that to the point that it really does need to work, because like you just said, that gimmick was more suited for the WWE audience with the younger crowd. It was for the kids. Impact as of late hasn't really been for the kids. Impact as of late has been more for the older wrestling fan, because Impact has kind of grown. I don't even want to say grown out of the kiddie stuff. Impact was never really into the kiddie thing, even back then when we were younger.
Yeah, I mean, Shark Boy was funny. Curry Man got a laugh, but they really were about the art.
Yeah, like you had your AJ Styles, your Samoa Joes, your Wrestling Machine Kurt Angle, Christian Cage, Aces and Eights, Main Event Mafia. Like you had your
one of the best Ravens.
Yeah, like you
Sting. Let's not forget.
They were for the adult. When they tried to get into the kiddie thing a little bit, it didn't really pan out too well.
I mean, even Beer Money.
Beer Money's another one. Yeah.
They never really were about that. I mean, ODB was there for like the longest time.
Exactly, yeah.
They definitely were a lot more serious.
And they like you said, they didn't really have many like colorful characters. Who were your colorful characters? Curryman, Shark Boy, and Consequences Creed and Jay Lethal.
Consequences Creed, Jay Lethal.
And even then,
But even the craziest thing about Jay Lethal was that it worked. Like you still took him serious.
But yeah, I was gonna say even then he was colorful, but you still took him serious.
Because everybody could go.
There's a very fine line Trinity has to walk with this gimmick.
You have to find a way to make yourself,
especially being
believable,
a female talent. Like there's a very fine line you got to walk.
Especially because you're walking in the steps of essentially pure women wrestling giants.
Yes.
Because pure women's wrestling has been 20 years deep in Impact Wrestling.
Yes, and Scott D'Amore has done a great job the last few years of really elevating it for them.
So if the character is going to work anywhere, it's going to work there. But I really hope it works, because if it doesn't, then that means you messed up.
Yeah, there's a very fine line she has to toe.
Exactly. We'll just know. Like I feel like she'll make it back, but the road will be much longer, because you'll essentially have to start from scratch.
Agreed.
But the biggest thing in Impact Wrestling isn't even Trinity. I feel like we heard the rumors that Punk was at Raw before getting kicked out. But things have also come out that Punk was backstage at Impact.
Yeah, like just being a man whore of the wrestling scene the last week.
A man whore of the wrestling.
Yeah, like just being a man whore of wrestling the last week and just popping up everywhere. So
it's true. He's trying to get back with all his exes.
Yeah, so I don't know if he's like, I don't know if he's trying to like make amends in a 12-step program of not being a dick. But I mean,
so he's confront all the people you've done wrong.
Exactly. So
oh my God, is that what this is?
Maybe
is he like wrestling rehab? Is like
he's in a 12-step program of apologizing for being a dick? That's what it is.
Damn.
So yeah, like you said, he was backstage at Raw. He talked to Tamina, who I didn't even think he had beef with. I think they're just friends. But he talked to Tamina, apologized to Hunter, apologized to Miz, and then popped up on Impact. I guess that Thursday or Saturday that they were taping, whatever it was. And he was backstage, talked to some people, and then he said he was there to support Trinity. So I don't know if this is just him in the 12-step program of being a dick, or if this is him just popping up at every show that comes to Chicago, I guess.
That's true. Both shows were in Chicago, so
Yeah, both shows were in Chicago.
clearly he's been home a lot. And maybe he is trying to like make amends. Like
Or
if you're at
maybe
home 2 days in a row of the week.
maybe he's just trying to like stir the pot in the wrestling world a little bit before he
He
makes his
he
big
also could
return.
be he also could be stirring the pot for he just goes back to AEW.
Mm-hmm. He could just pop up with the live mic and pull a Cody and be like, "So, what do you guys want to talk about? You guys want to know what I did while I was gone?"
Right.
But it definitely is interesting that he's popping up at all these shows.
Yeah. So I you know what? The craziest thing is I would not mind him going back to Impact.
Oh, Punk?
Yeah, he won't. They don't have a bag big enough for that man. But I mean, if he was able to take that D Wade pay cut, boy, oh boy,
I mean, has he ever pissed
they
anybody
did.
off in
That's
Impact?
well, I mean, I don't know, but Impact is small enough and he's big enough that they can deal with it.
Has
They would they would deal with it for the right price. They
has he
would
ever
put
said
that strap
anything?
right on him.
Has he ever said anything bad about Scott D'Amore?
I don't know, but he's making amends. So for all
Jimmy
we know,
Jacobs, Jimmy Jacobs isn't over there right now, is he?
Listen, if he can apologize to Triple H, she can apologize to Scott D'Amore for whatever.
Jimmy Jacobs isn't over there right now, is he?
I don't think so. I don't know where Jimmy Jacobs is. We should check on Jimmy Jacobs. I think he's in like GCW though. But who knows, man? Who knows? Did you know we're getting a unprogressive character talk. But CM Punk was in Impact Wrestling. Um Apologizing, possibly showing up there for Trinity. He probably won't come back to Impact. This is probably all promo, but cool to see.
Yeah.
Cool to see that he's trying not to be. He's trying to make me download him on 2K. Is what it is.
Trying not to be a dick.
I've been on the fence about it, but I've been like, but he might be a dick, so maybe I should. But now he's going in this apology tour. Maybe I'll download him. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. But moving on to AEW, where he's likely to return.
Mm-hmm.
So, and not the biggest news, they've kind of been pushing the same stories for a month or two. What are your thoughts on where the Pillars whole tournament thing is? For one, it's not the Fatal 4-Way we thought it would be. The tournament was kind of a joke. And now we have MJF at Double or Nothing against Sammy Guevara because MJF seems to think he paid Sammy enough money to take a dive for him.
Yeah, so you see, I was kind of hoping that it was just a fatal four-way. I was really hoping for a fatal four-way because they haven't done too many of them.
Right.
So this would have been a nice thing to see, especially with MJF as the world champ.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been a nice little change of pace, something different. And it would have been four guys who stylistically can make it work in a fatal four-way. So that would have been nice. But the fact that it's just MJF and Sammy, I mean, it makes a little bit of sense in a way, but I also, as crazy as it may sound, I'm kind of turned off to the idea, which is crazy because it's MJF, it's Sammy Guevara. Sammy's been improving a little bit, kind of like not turning my back on Sammy as much. But for me, I kind of just wanted something more.
Mm-hmm.
If maybe that's selfish of me to say, I don't know. But I was just hoping for something more out of this whole thing. I wouldn't have even wanted the match with just Sammy. I would have put any of the other pillars, maybe even somebody who wasn't in the pillars. But again, that's just me being biased. Maybe I'm selfish, but I was just hoping for more. I'm kind of like not. I'm about like 50% of the way interested in this.
I think you said everything I felt. I feel
Okay,
the
so
exact same way. It could have been
it's
anybody
not just
else.
me.
I really was kind of just hoping for the Fatal 4-Way. It seemed like a better story. You do a couple matches, couple tags, couple promos, boom. Because it kind of, there's no work in it. The story is the story. These are the pillars. We're having a match for the pillars. Nobody's, of course, MJF's gonna win, but it'll be cool. You know what I mean? Like we know what this is.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
fact that y'all didn't really give us that is kind of like is weird because you had everybody air out their grievances for weeks to not be a fatal four-way in the end is kind of a
right.
waste of great promos, right?
It, it
Like I
it's it
feel like
seems like they kind of like teased us a little bit with a steak. Like here's what you could get. Here's what you could get, and then at the last minute they did the switcheroo and gave us the bologna and cheese sandwich.
yeah, I hope Tony isn't going a Vince McMahon route with this, and for the next 3 months we just get the other three pillars. Like this time it'll be Sammy squashes Sammy. Next month it'll be Jungle Boy or Darby squashes him, and then we just got to see these four on screen doing the same dumb stuff for the
You know
next three
what,
months because they have no idea what they're doing. Like that's the only reason I feel like you would have these important promos and then have a match that doesn't include half the people that were in the promos. Like it does, and neither of them. Like mind you, you're putting a heel against the heel at the pay per view. Like nobody's a face here, so this is gonna.
yeah,
That's why we're turned off to it. Like any other way, like maybe if Sammy Guevara was cashing in like the chip from Double or Nothing and was challenging MJ, because then it'd have been different. Like
dude.
at least we could kind of root for Sammy, but this isn't like a lose-lose situation. So the only thing I can think of is that they're gonna shove the four of them down our throat for the next 3 months to get MJF over until the next big thing.
Dude, you might have just I'm trying to like piece the ideas together in my head. Now, what I'm really thinking is gonna happen is they're like you just said, they're gonna give us the pillars one by one, and then it's gonna be Sammy, Jungle Boy, Darbs, and then once he's done with the three of them, that's when we're probably gonna get the Punk return, and then it's gonna be him and Punk.
Oh, listen, if we gotta wait 4 months for CM Punk and he's shopping around, I'm gonna be so mad by the time Punk gets here.
I feel like that's what's gonna happen because they got to do a big thing in the summer. I feel like he's gonna be the big thing of the
Oh, right,
summer.
the summer of Punk. The summer of Punk. Yeah, yeah, the summer of Punk.
Yeah, now I really feel like
Mm,
that's what's gonna happen.
that could be right. You could be on the money there. We could have just came up with the whole CM Punk rollout.
Yeah, I really feel
They
like
do call
that's
it the
what's gonna
summer of
happen there.
Punk. They do call them the summer of Punk every time Punk comes back for a big run. So easily they could give us the next three pillars to last us until the summer, and then Punk comes back for the summer of Punk 3 or 4 or
I
whatever.
think it's three. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang,
Oh, damn. That sucks.
that sucks.
but but moving on to better news, Rodrick Strong has returned.
Yeah.
And the missed in the missed and the long strain of returns and debuts and returns to AEW, we have gotten Juice Robinson, Jay White, and Rodrick Strong.
Hell yeah.
So Roderick Strong is now back helping Adam Cole in his rivalry with Daniel Garcia and Chris Jericho. Great
Love it.
thoughts. Good.
I,
Yeah.
I honestly, all right. So the feud, but Roddy coming back. I love Roddy, man. Roddy could go anywhere and I'll be happy for him. I got no gripes about Roderick Strong. He could do no wrong. Roddy's an angel. You could go to MLW, GCW, New Japan. You could go back to WWE if you wanted. I'm happy wherever Roddy is and doing good. So kudos to AEW for being the ones to scoop him up.
And honestly, I've been hearing people go back and forth about Bobby Fish, and I would love for Bobby Fish to come back. But hey, listen, if Bobby Fish doesn't come back and it's just Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, and Roderick Strong,
That's okay
I'm
too.
honestly fine with that because they
Yeah.
all work well as tag teams, but also they're also all tremendous singles wrestlers.
Yeah.
All
And
three of them tremendous. Roderick Strong, king of the backbreaker.
mm-hmm.
So I feel like the Indies is where all three of them belong, and all three of them can thrive together and on their own. They're the perfect kind of faction.
Yeah, and like you
So
just said, they're good as a tag team. They're good as singles competitors. And even if Bobby comes back or not, it's okay because we've seen Kyle and Roddy do the tag team thing together when Bobby Fish went down with his knee
and
injury.
they're perfect.
And they work just as
They were
good.
tremendous.
The styles
Kyle
match
had so
up
much,
perfectly.
you know,
And plus, that's what let Kyle come into himself a little bit in NXT.
Kyle had so much charisma, dude.
Yeah, we didn't know Kyle had that much charisma in him.
He was a ball of charisma.
Yeah,
And
so
Roddy just went in there and did work, son. Which
he
is
was
which
he
is
was
all you need Roddy to
yeah,
do, man.
he was their workhorse. He was
He
their
was there.
he was NXT's Dolph Ziggler.
He was weirdly like a the Undisputed Era's enforcer
Yeah,
in a way.
he was like a more technical Dolph Ziggler, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm fine with it. I could see Roddy being a TNT champion, honestly.
Oh, absolutely.
Roddy's so ooh,
Yeah,
he's great
I
on
would
his own in
absolutely be
singles.
okay with that.
So congratulations to him on that. That was the biggest thing in AEW. When are they gonna stop signing people? Do you think they're gonna reach a ceiling where they're like, hey, I mean, because they're starting a third show, dude. And if I could, where are we at on time? If I could rant for like just 20 seconds.
Go ahead.
Um,
Might as well.
so they've gotten a reality show now. You know, the Dynamite's 2 hours. They've got Rampage just an hour on Friday. They've got the YouTube shows, they've got a reality show, and there's rumors of a show that's gonna be on Saturdays. And um when's ROH gonna get that TV deal, Tony? Like
Uh-huh.
like, yo, how many shows is you gonna make for all these people you keep signing, and we can't get an ROH straight TV deal? People gotta pay to see ROH, and you've got 5 different AEW shows. Like, what is happening, Tony? I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of you signing people and having nowhere to put them. I'm so sick of you having other TV contracts and none of them be for ROH. What do you do? What kind of place are you running, Tony? I mean, good God, you've got Swerve change his faction 3 different times to now pick up a ROH faction so they can get TV because they won't get it anywhere else. Brian, I have no idea what has happened to Brian Cage. You have to like keep up with these people to figure out what's going on ROH. If it wasn't for like what culture wrestling, I would have no idea what happens on ROH TV, and they don't even run promos. They just have matches.
Where's
Tony,
Miro?
Where's Miro, Tony? Huh? Why is Aleister Black only the trios champ, Tony? Why did it take this long to make Aleister Black a trios champion, Tony? Why did it take this long to get trios belts, Tony? What is
Is
happening over there, Tony? What kind
is
of show
Pac
are you
still there?
running, man? Jesus.
Is Pac on TV?
Is Pac on TV anymore? I think is Death Triangle still doing stuff? The last thing they was doing was Warehouse of Black, I feel like. Oh no. The last thing they was doing was them trios things with the Elite, who's doing an angle with Blackpool Combat Club because they don't know what they're doing anymore either. What is happening, Tony? Tony,
You're losing it, man.
jeez, man. They're wiping the floor with you, Tony. They're wiping the floor with you. All right. back to the important stuff.
I feel like that was one of the best rants we had.
God, man.
Come on, Tony.
When's the game coming out, Tony?
Hey, after seeing the shit for that game, I don't think I want it.
Yo, one MMA wrestling. I mean, not one MMA champion. The one championship for MMA fighting. They're about to release a game. If one MMA fighting championships drops a game before the AEW game, Tony, you know how embarrassing it's gonna be. Like,
I think that indie wrestling game is gonna
and I
drop
will
before
get
the
it. I
AEW
will
game.
get it because it has Mouse and Smooth Benny Henderson. I will get it. Tony.
Where's the game, Tony?
Where's the game, Tony?
Where's Miro, Tony?
Gosh, this man is over there. Yo, I believe the reporter, Ariel Hawani.
Oh
You
yeah.
guys got to be a snowman in the back, like just putting cards together. Fight, dude. This guy has got to be running this place into the ground, dude. This is gonna be one of those companies they make a dark side of the ring for.
Oh
You're gonna
God, yeah.
you're just gonna see Mark Henry on there like he did coke every Wednesday.
5 minutes before the show starts, all you hear in Gorilla is, "All right, what's next?"
Oh my god, it's gonna
We
be
got
terrible. It's gonna be so bad.
we got to make a thumbnail of Snowman Tony.
Oh man, Tony.
Snowman, yeah, that's
Oh
you.
god, dude. That's gonna be so bad, dude. Are
Oh
you ready for
man,
that? Are you ready for Big Show back there? Like, yeah, the night they brought Captain Insano back, he just kind of lost it. I mean, he was already pretty hype, but you could tell on the phone he was gone. Like he had been.
yeah. The 8 ball was alive and well, and they weren't playing pool.
I don't know why they tried to put me and Punk in the World Championship as Captain Insano. I have no idea. But I mean, Tony, you couldn't tell him different. He was just high all the time.
I felt like I was back. I felt like I was back in the power plant. Next thing you know, he starts talking about Goldberg. And it's crazy that we're saying this because he's probably thinking of the shit. I guarantee you the
Oh
thought of
God.
Goldberg has crossed his mind a time or two.
Oh, facts. Oh, facts. Facts. Oh my goodness. Dustin's got to be. Yo, Dustin's gonna be the guy. Dustin's gonna be like JR on the plane.
Oh man.
Dustin's gonna be like, that was a rough night. I mean, I remember driving Tony home.
And if Dustin's saying that, then
It's gonna be so bad.
we remember Dustin on the airplane. If Dustin's saying he's driving
Right,
Tony
right, right.
home,
He was like me.
we
It
know
was
shit was getting wild.
yeah, yeah.
Oh man. I
I
plead the
slept on my
fifth.
couch that night in the hotel.
Oh man.
Oh God.
Let's give it like 10 years until we see the Dark Side episode. And then once that Dark Side episode comes out, we are gonna go back to this episode right here.
Yes,
And this
yes.
is where it happened.
We're gonna pull this out 10 years, 10 years later.
We hooping. I called it.
Oh man, where we're gonna be? I'm probably gonna be writing for Impact. I'm probably gonna have had enough of Triple H's shit and just be writing for Impact.
I'm probably gonna be jumping off of ladders. I'll be doing the high spots for other people so they can win titles.
Terrible. I can see it though. All right. Let's get to the important stuff, man. WWE Backlash in Puerto Rico is coming up.
Yeah.
And the draft is happening as we speak. Half of it's over, half of it's coming out on the day this releases on Monday. And we'll get to see on Raw who the other half is. Duke. Take it away, man.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get started with the Backlash card. I want to get your opinion on it, and everybody else can chime in with their opinions when this comes out. So we have, as of now, 7 matches slated on this card. No world title match. Obviously, Roman's not going to be competing on this pay-per-view. So, if I'm not mistaken, I think there is one, two. I think there's only 2 title matches. Oh no, I'm lying. I'm sorry. There's 3. There's 3 title matches. So I'm just gonna go down the list in the order that it's in. So the first match that we have that's on here probably won't be the first match, but the 6-man tag match: Matt Riddle, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn versus the Bloodline: Solo Sikoa, Jimmy, and Jay, with Paul Heyman. So me personally, I don't know I don't know who's gonna win this. I'm thinking it would probably have to be the tag team champions with Matt Riddle. And I believe that's where we're gonna start seeing the bigger cracks in the bloodline. Just my opinion. So I want to know what you think.
So, man, I think they see it's weird because there's an interesting way they can go, but I just hate to think Triple H is one of those guys that would take the easy way out.
Okay.
The easiest thing they could do is have the Usos and Solo lose, because if the Usos get traded Monday to Raw and their alliance with the Bloodline stands in the balance of whether they win or lose this match in Puerto Rico, if they lose, it'd be so much easier to cut ties with that entire story because they just got traded.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to worry about the titles. They get traded. It is what it is. No more Usos in the Bloodline. Story continues without them. But what a cheap way to release the Jay story.
Yeah.
At the same time, we've already seen that they're apparently very quick to release very important Bloodline stories,
Yeah.
as we'll get into later. But I don't know. I it's hard for me to have an opinion on who should win because there's so much riding on it.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much.
Especially for how long this storyline's been going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can understand it. All right. So our next match we have Rhea Ripley versus Zelina Vega for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Oh man. I'm looking at the time. I won't spend too much on it, but I'll say this. So happy for Zelina.
Yeah.
So happy for Zelina.
Yeah,
That's my only comment. I think we all know how this is gonna go. But so
yeah,
happy for Zelina.
Yeah, Zelina Vega gets the win, right?
It's so happy for Zelina. We're so pleased that she's made it to this place.
Yeah, no, I mean, we all know what the actual result's going to be of this match. It's not a foregone conclusion, or it is a foregone conclusion. I'm excited to see her actually get the moment, especially in Puerto Rico of all places. You know, family gonna be there, got to show out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that match is gonna be what it's gonna be.
Hopefully they give him a good amount of time.
Yeah, please give us more than 8 minutes.
And I know Zelina's outfit's gonna be incredible.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be cool too.
Next match we have Seth freaking Rollins versus Almost. I'm gonna say this. I didn't care for this feud when it started. I don't care for the feud now that we're a week away. But I will say, without getting into too much, this past Monday on Raw, Seth built the entire damn feud with one promo on Omos. He built this entire thing by saying one damn paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
And if that doesn't tell you how great he is in this moment, at this time of his career, you need to get your head out of your ass. You need to pull your head out from under that rock because Seth is him right now.
I am loving peak Seth Rollins.
Yes, and we didn't think there could be any more peak Seth Rollins.
Just
thank God the man's still young. Thank God we could still get another 10 years of him.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many times this guy changes his character.
Nope.
He will always find a way to be peak Seth Rollins.
Yes.
And this was
I love it.
And the fact that he didn't even know he was having this match. And then he finds out he's having this match when we find out. And they're pretty much like, all right, make the match. And it just goes out there and makes the match. It's like,
you know what Seth right now reminds me of?
The greatest.
This is what Seth reminds me of right now. So for some of you guys who might be UFC fans, might not be UFC fans, there was a point in time when Conor McGregor was supposed to fight somebody, and that fight, it fell through for whatever reason. And Conor McGregor finds out is like when he wakes up and his boss comes to his house and tells him, hey, this fight's not going to happen. These are the people that, we have in mind for you, but we're still not sure. And Conor McGregor goes, okay, I'm going to go take a piss. take a shower, and go train. When I'm done training, you guys let me know who I'm fighting. That is what this version of Seth Rollins reminds me of. He's just going to show up and be like, okay, well, I'm going to go do X, Y, and Z. When I come back from doing X, Y, and Z, you tell me who I'm feuding with, and walks off because he knows it's going to be great anyway. He knows the show's going to get put on. That's what this version of Seth Rollins is.
He reminds me of a Triple H and Triple H kid, dude. I mean, this is the thing about Triple H kids. This is what makes them so special. They just need a reason. The best thing about a real pure Triple H kid is they will rise to the occasion.
Yes.
You just give them a reason. Give me the guy. What am I doing? Whether it's Seth, whether it's Sheamus, whether it's Randy, it's you give me the guy, I'll figure out how to make him. Because that's what the best of them could do. That was an art Triple H always had. And that's an art all of his kids, all the best of his kids really seem to have.
Yes, it's very much I am the game, I am that damn good.
With a
sprinkle of Undertaker in there. You try me and I'll make you famous.
You try me and I'll make you famous. I love that line. I know I don't know if he was doing that on purpose, but I feel like he was. But it's just that's what I do, man. It's like Ric Flair. It was like a Ric Flair promo.
Yeah.
It was like somebody just threw somebody in front of Ric Flair and was like, all right, I'll make this match. Nobody cares about you. They care about me. You know what I'm going to do when I get in there? I'm going to make a fool out of you because that's what I do because I'm Ric Flair. I'm going to style, I'm going to profile, I'm going to walk all over you. And by the end of it, you had the best 15 minutes of your life. I loved it. The minute he said bounce your big head off the canvas, I was like, oh, this is it. I want to see this fight now. I want to see you put his big head through the canvas. I want to see it.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's amazing that he can do this. Somehow I'm excited for this. And I remember at WrestleMania saying this is gonna be Omos's big match. Him and Brock, because if he can't do well against Brock, then it's just not gonna go over well.
It looks like they're giving him one more big match
but he did well because he did well against Brock. Seeing him throw Brock around for a little bit in that match was pretty cool. Like he was faster than I thought he was. He looked stronger than I thought Brock made him look real strong. So they're putting him up against Seth as kind of the bar.
Yes.
If Seth can make you look good, because he's like an AJ Styles. If anybody's gonna make you look good, it's gonna be Seth. So if Seth can make him look good, then Omos can go further. Because then people like us will be impressed with Omos. Because he doesn't have to be super impressive. I mean, the bar.
No, just be serviceable. Exactly. That right there.
You can beat Khali.
For you, the bar is Khali. If you can do better than Khali, then we can make something work with.
We can make something work. If you can beat Shanky, or who's the guy they got over at AEW, Satnam Singh or whatever his name is.
Oh my god. I beat Satnam Singh.
Then you're it. So.
I got more.
This is a good match.
I got more charisma in the ring than Satnam Singh.
He doesn't have a lot.
Let's never have Satnam Singh on the podcast.
Yeah.
So that's one match, and then the next one we got, arguably one of the most important matches, Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. Now, this might be one of the most important matches. This might be the most important match, but I don't care. It's weird to say. I don't care for this match. It doesn't appeal to me. It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, Brock attacked him the night after Mania when he's supposed to be in a tag team match, but this is not the first time Brock has done that. It seems like they're trying to give Cody the redemption story like John Cena had with The Rock. Like the first night after he lost to The Rock, Brock came back, F5'd him, and that was his feud right after. This is just a repeat of 2011 or 2012 or whatever the year was. Rock came back. So
yeah, you have I'll say the same thing you said, but make it a little bit more dramatic. For all our guys that listen to this pod, guys and girls, here comes the outrageous quote, right? Cody about to get that ass beat.
Yeah.
He about to get served. He about to be suplexed all the way to the bottom. Brock finna rip this man apart. It's gonna be a spectacle. But to say exactly what Duke said, it's gonna be a redemption story. It looks that way. People were saying Cody got there too easy. And he looked like he didn't look like enough of an underdog, and he needs to have this overcoming story. This is the start of it. Brock Lesnar finna fit you down to size. And he's gonna have to work his way back. So I won't say that I don't care about the match. Because I know what it's gonna be, and I know I'm gonna watch it, and I know it's gonna be crazy.
Oh, well,
And
yeah.
seeing Brock train wreck a guy, especially a guy that's good in the ring, is always so painful. Like I remember watching him kill AJ at Survivor Series. It's just, but you couldn't look away. I know what it's about to be, but I won't say I don't care, but I will say I'm partly afraid. Because that John Cena story worked out real well for John.
It did.
And I mean, I trust the hands at the wheel, but I just hope you can capture lightning in a bottle twice with Cody. Because if you can't, and Cody starts to feel like he can't beat Roman anymore, what a bad idea it was to have Brock kill him the pay-per-view live event after WrestleMania. If he don't feel like he can still beat Roman in a year, man, it was a bad idea to put Brock on him. So
I ain't even sure I fully trust the hands at the wheel anymore, to be honest.
whoa.
I mean, just because, what everybody's saying that, somebody backstage is always making last minute changes now. So that's why I'm saying I don't fully trust the hands behind the wheel, allegedly. But that's for another.
I believe Vince tried it that one Monday because he was there. And it didn't go well. So I think it's a process of every now and then something wacky might happen. And we can blame it on Vince. But I think for the most part, this is Triple H's sandbox.
Okay. So then maybe we'll see.
But we'll see. Yeah.
Next match we have is for the US Championship. Austin Theory defending against Bobby Lashley.
Right.
And Bronson Reed. I'll be honest, a little more interested than I should be.
I know how this ends.
Well, go ahead. Why don't you give us how it ends?
Bobby wins.
Really?
Yep.
How so?
Because Bobby's in SmackDown.
Theory wasn't drafted yet, though.
No, but how much easier would it be to keep Bobby away from the world title if he wins the US title from Austin Theory, which is also going to be defended in Backlash? So if Theory gets drafted to Raw, for a moment, it can be, the IC and the US title are both on Raw until Bobby smacks him and takes it to SmackDown.
Well, I was going to say, I have Theory going to SmackDown.
You have Theory going to SmackDown?
More than likely.
I have Theory going to SmackDown too. I called the IC and US switch early, but
yeah, I
could also see them putting it on Bobby.
I was hoping for the IC US title switch, but I don't know. It's possible. Definitely not Bronson, though.
No.
Okay.
Not that we don't love Bronson.
Yeah, we do love Bronson, but it's Bobby and Bobby and Theory.
It's either Bobby or Theory. You're the fall guy, most likely.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's gonna be the fall guy, most likely. The next match we have Bianca Belair versus a slight surprise, Io Sky for the Raw Women's Championship. Kind of surprised it's Io Sky, to be honest. I mean, happy but surprised.
Easy squash.
Yeah, easy squash.
Good for EO though. I
That's
mean,
why I
you know
said
what I mean?
again, I'm happy. I am happy, but
I appreciate Triple H for making everyone feel important.
yeah, especially in Puerto Rico.
Because we know what a squash look like when we see a squash.
Yeah, but
But
will it be an
it's great
entertaining
that it's
squash?
great that new faces are getting the opportunity at the title. We don't want it getting stale. We always want new talent. We always want it to feel like anybody could challenge. So
And
this is good.
it's two different styles. It's a powerhouse and a high flyer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for it.
But a squash nonetheless.
Which now that I'm looking at both the women's title matches, I see the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last match that's on the card, Damian Priest and a returning Bad Bunny, and what they're calling it's a street fight, but the official title is a San Juan street fight.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I ain't even gonna lie. This is the match I'm most excited for. This is the match I'm most excited for.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude. I'm so excited for this.
As I have
so
the
excited
Puerto Rican flag right behind me. I swear I didn't plan for that. If you guys seen last week's episode, this was there. But
yeah,
man, this does the heart so this does the heart so good to see this,
so
man.
Good. And the craziest thing about it is Bad Bunny sold me.
Right?
Bad Bunny sold me. All I needed was that promo on the table. Soon as he said,
it was elite. Like
it was like, oh,
here we go. Hosting Backlash anymore. I'm going to be at Backlash to kick your ass. I'm like, oh, he out here sounding like somebody, Theo. Go ahead, Theo. Oh man, but I'm excited for it, man.
You gotta do the see you Damien and Bad Bunny.
Like, yeah, he was like, "Vente pa'l diablo, puñeta." I'm coming to Puerto Rico. I'm like, oh shit, okay. But yeah, I'm excited for this match. I'm pretty sure in some way, shape, or form, Bad Bunny's gonna win. I'm at the point where I don't really care who wins. I just want to see the match.
It's gonna be dope though. It's gonna be
like
dope,
if Priest wins, okay.
I think it's going at the end of that match. It's gonna be the entire LWO.
I hope
against all of Judgment Day with just like I don't even know what kind of weapons they finna have, but I just imagine like
Doug at this point get the kendo sticks.
I imagine it being an open arena.
And we need kendo sticks, we need trash
like
cans.
WCW in there.
We
need during a hardcore match with a bunch of dudes in LWO shirts.
Trash cans, kendo sticks, chairs. Get the damn chancleta.
I need the crowd throwing weapons in there.
I need somebody's old Wella in the crowd just smacking Damian Priest.
I need somebody to smack the shit out of Dame. That's a grandma.
hit him with a chancla. Get him a cocotazo. Give him all that.
I need that.
I'm here for it, man.
I need it. It's gonna be so dope. It's gonna be so dope.
I need Bad Bunny to do the Michael Jordan thing, but instead of doing powder, just use some adobo. Like, let's go. Come on. Asuka's not doing green mist. Zelina's doing adobo.
Yo, that would be fire.
Oh man, I'm here for it.
That'd be fire.
It sounds mildly fucked up, but I mean, hey, I got the flag behind me. Yeah, it's my culture, man. I'm here for it, dog. I'm first time in 20 years. Puerto Rico got a pay-per-view. I'm here for it. Mm-hmm. And it was one of my favorite pay-per-views growing up, so I can't say that.
Backlash was that.
Backlash was always the move.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those are the matches. I honestly have for the people that are on the card, there could be better people. Mm-hmm. But I have very high hopes for this pay-per-view. I feel like they're gonna show out for Puerto Rico.
I hope so too.
And people that aren't announced are gonna make an appearance somewhere.
Got you. There's no way they're doing a Backlash in Puerto Rico. And all the other lucha wrestlers are not coming.
Get Carlito in there somehow. Why not?
Oh my God, Carlito! Could you imagine?
Shit, man. Why not? Carly runs the promotion with his dad.
Spits in Damien's face.
Yeah. Let's get
just mad cameos. Just
get everybody. Johnny Rods, everybody. Anybody who's Puerto Rican.
Conan run down with the LAX.
Get Conan and LAX in there. I'm trying to think who else can we get? I think No Way Jose is Dominican, but that's the next island over. You can bring him over. Nah, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
And I think the last thing that we have, if I'm not mistaken, as we all know from this past Monday, there was a big announcement from Triple H. Nobody knew what it was. I'm pretty sure nobody knew what it was. They might have had ideas, but nothing was official. And then come to find out we're getting a new championship. And it just so happens it's a WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And to make it even better, it's a variation of the big gold belt. The same big gold belt that everybody has been asking for. Do you want to give your thoughts on it first, or should I give mine?
Yeah, because I'll lead with love.
Well, okay, I'll go ahead. You go first then.
I've seen now because I waited. I had an indifferent first impression, but I was willing to give it a chance. Once I was able to actually see the details in the belt, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It pays homage, which I love, but it is a step in the future rather than a step backwards. And it's beautiful. I looked at it, the true details in the belt and some good lighting, and it looks tremendous. The detail they put into it, the lions, the crown, they just did a great job. They did a great job.
Okay. So I guess I'm leading it with hate. But it's not what you think it is. So when I first seen it, I'm gonna be completely honest. I did not like the belt when I first saw it in real time ish. I wasn't a fan of it. I thought it was kind of a cheap way of making a new belt, but I took your advice. I gave it some time. I started looking at it differently each day. And as more pictures and more stuff started coming out, I gradually hated it less each day. And I'm still not all the way there for it like you are. But I will say my hatred for it has subsided. So I like the belt. I don't love the belt, but I do see what they were going for. So right. I'm off the hatred wagon on it. I agree with what you said. It's a step into the future where it's not so much even a full step into the future. It's like 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, in the sense of like, all right, it's new, but it's still the big gold belt. So I like the belt. I do. Maybe as you know the months and weeks go on, it'll grow on me. But as of now, I'm content with the belt. I don't love the belt completely like you do, but I am content with it. It's a belt that I can give the stamp of approval to for now.
I just hope they choose. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the same thing. As time goes on, maybe I'll buy the belt on WWE Shop. But I think what did it, I think what like kind of turned me off to it at first was the big damn logo in the center. But you know, it's a branding thing. If somebody walks outside, you got to show, you know, hey, this is my company. I was kind of hoping they went big gold and then just put the new logo up top like they did with the old one. But, you know, it's not completely big like the rest of the belts, so I can't complain.
What are you gonna do?
It's not terrible looking.
I'm sure it was events call. You gotta have it bigger than that. Put it right in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, all right, so we'll compromise. It's either gonna be really big or it's gonna go in the middle. Which one you want?
Right. Okay, just put the damn thing in the middle. We're not doing the whole belt again, Vince. We're not doing it. We'll do the center of the belt.
Yeah. Bigger than the IC title.
No, this isn't John Cena.
Bigger than the IC title logo, but not as big as the WWE title logo.
Right.
Find the happy medium.
So, man, I just hope that the lineage proves. And please don't just hand it to Cody.
That was actually my next question for you. Who's your first champion?
Because here's the thing, because we can get into the draft now to end this up. Because I'll tie the draft into the title. I hope they don't send it right to Cody because, man, that would kind of ruin it. Like, that would really kind of seem like a constellation prize, and they're already calling it the constellation prize. So please don't just give it to Cody. Because it really sucks that you traded him to Raw. Like, you really just gave up on that story completely. Man, that sucks. Unless Cody wins the Rumble again and challenges Roman again, I just don't see any other way to do it. But yeah, I think my first champion is Seth Rollins. I think Seth really, really deserves it. I think Seth has all the hype in the world. I think Seth is your biggest. Yeah, I think Seth is your biggest guy on Raw. I mean, of course, Cody is Cody, but I mean, the genuine love for Seth is I think somehow greater than Cody because of Cody at this point.
Yeah.
So I would say Seth. And you know what? I feel like that creates an either way thing. Like, say down the line, if Seth keeps this title all the way to like next Mania, just to establish like a strong first champion, and he loses it at Mania, then I could see Cody winning again and it not mattering who he chooses.
Yeah.
But then again, also seeming like the easy way out. Like, I could see Seth and Roman being champs at the end of the next year when it's time to choose. And Roman being like, if you choose Seth, you choose the easy way out because you beat Seth 4 times.
Yeah.
And Seth like wanting the match and it being like a toss up between who Cody could choose. But I think the first champ should be Seth. I think Nakamura has potential. I think eventually Gunther will win it. But I think the first champ should be Seth.
I agree. The first champ should be Seth. Please, for the love of God, just because I don't want history to repeat itself, don't let Finn be the first champion.
Don't let Finn be the first champ.
Don't, because we know what happened the last time Finn was a first champion.
I feel like he wants it to make him a second champion.
Yeah, make him the second champion.
Make him a second champion.
Gunther, I could see getting the belt. Cody down the line, but not right away. Please, no. I feel like Seth is the option. Seth is the safest.
Is the option.
Seth is the safest way to go. I think you could do Judgment Day didn't get drafted yet, right? As we're recording this?
No.
All right, so I would say Judgment Day to SmackDown. They would have to because Rhea's the SmackDown champ. Unless, they did a title swap. But I'm going to say for the title, oh, damn it, we can't. Could we do that? I was going to say have the match for the first champion be Seth versus Finn. But then that would feel kind of cheap because that was the first match for the Universal title.
Yeah, but they're both at a place where it's
different.
It's not coincidental. Like, it's different for the both of them, obviously. Finn back then was like a young, like the young
shiny new toy,
shiny future that Triple H was betting all his money on, and Seth was like his kid that he'd already made, and this was his shiny new kid. You know what I'm saying? So it was different then. Now they're like established characters. They both are kind of the best versions of themselves. Okay. And Seth, instead of Finn feeling like an obvious choice, Finn is now the underdog in a way. But we all know he still can go, and he can still go in there with Seth. So it'll be interesting. I mean, Finn will be an easy bad guy.
Has the Seth faction behind him.
Good guy. So it'll be funnier, probably. But I think it'll be just as good. I wouldn't mind. Just don't have Finn win.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're
Yeah,
having
yeah, yeah.
Finn. I'm sorry.
Don't have Finn win. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll get it. But yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think that's everything.
Yep.
All right, so it's time to get
Unless
into
there's
these.
anybody big you want to talk about that got drafted, but I think that's
Um,
it.
yeah, no, I think we can cover the draft. We can cover the full rundown of the draft next pod.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I guess it's time we get into these shout outs. So who do you want to go first, me or
Oh
you?
yeah, you got to go first, dude. You got to go first.
All right, just
Tell
making
us the good
sure,
news. What is the
gotta
good
make
word,
sure.
sir?
All right, so I'm getting into the shout outs first. The first shout out that I'm giving is actually, no, we're gonna save him for last. So the first shout out I'm giving is High Side of the Ropes podcast.
Mm.
They've been showing us some love on Instagram and on YouTube. So go check them out if you haven't already. High Side of the Ropes podcast. Next one we have is Yankee TDM from UWC. He's been putting on clinics all over the Northeastern territories with all different types of talents with UWC and with all these other different promotions within Jersey, New York, Delaware, PA. So if you haven't checked him out on YouTube or any of his clips, make sure you check him out as well. And then we're going to shout out the Arcade fam as they always show us love. So we always give it back. You got Arcade Pop, Mr. Awesome, Johnny Funko. Go check them out on YouTube and Instagram if you haven't. And then last but certainly not least, we have a new second generation wrestler that's jumping into the wrestling scene.
Mm.
And we decided to extend the olive branch and show some love to this man. And he messaged us on Instagram and returned the love right back. So we're going to shout him out and give him some love. Ladies and gentlemen, the newest second generation talent to start training, Jaden Funaki.
Mm.
Funaki Jr., Funaki's son, is in the wrestling business. He's training down there in Texas. So make sure you keep an eye out on this guy because he's going to be doing some great things, man. Funaki was awesome. Funaki was great. So I already know his son's going to be just as great, if not even better. So make sure you check that man out. Show him some love. Go find him on Instagram. Let him know the Dangerous Jobber sent you, and you're there to support him 100%.
Mm. All right, man. So my figure four, I'm doing a little bit different. I'm saving the one I usually do first, last. I'm gonna get these first three out the way. They're all from Twitter. 2K creators, Razorback 2021. The ECW 2K showcase, where they're, as you could guess, are making all types of ECW legends in their heyday. If you're looking to add ECW to your WWE 2K creative journey or universe or however have you. They got everybody over there. Raven, they're doing just incredible. Billy Kidman, a bunch of ECW legends. Taz. Another Twitter shout out I want to give you guys is Wrestling Ops 2.0. They're more wrestling news and creations, but go follow them too. These are all people that follow us as well. On Twitter, either on the Dangerous Jobbers Twitter or the Stevie Jobber Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And the last shout out, last but not least, is Doghouse Gaming for all your retro gaming needs. They have everything you need from the SNES all the way up until current systems. They're always getting new pops. They're always getting new figures. They're always getting new games. They're always getting new game systems. So go check those guys out. They're out in oh my god, why can't I remember it? They're out in Upper Ridge, just beyond Ben Salem.
Mm-hmm.
So go check those guys out. Doghouse Gaming for all your retro gaming needs. And I believe that is all my shout outs. That's the figure four for this week.
Got it. Got it. Well, guys, that concludes this week's episode. Thank you for tuning in, for checking it out. Again, if you're new here, make sure you check us out on all podcasting platforms. You got the dangerousjobberswebsite.com. You got Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts. Make sure you check us out on Instagram, on Facebook, TikTok, all that good stuff. And that's pretty much it for this week, man. Make sure you guys stay up. Make sure you guys stay blessed. And as always, stay dangerous.